Thousands of years ago, ancient cultures built pyramids of different sizes. Over the past few centuries, humanity has encountered the remnants of many of these majestic ancient structures, learning that there are pyramids on nearly every continent on Earth. You know, this spinning little ball here in outer space? The most famous pyramids are, without a reason of doubt, those of Egypt, although Egypt isn't the country with the most pyramids. The most famous pyramid on Earth itself is the Great Pyramid of Giza, an ancient structure that's thought to have been built around 4,500 years ago by King Khufu of the Fourth Dynasty. It is one of the most massive pyramids on the planet's surface, though it's far from the biggest. With an estimated total volume of over 4.5 million cubic meters, the world's largest pyramid is surprisingly not the Great Pyramid of Egypt. In fact, this pyramid is nearly twice as large as the Great Pyramid of Giza, and it isn't even in Egypt. Yes, the largest pyramid on the planet's surface is, in fact, located in Mexico and is known as the Great Pyramid of Cholula. This behemoth of a structure is built in honor of the feathered flying serpent Quetzalcoatl. It is one that is shrouded by mystery and much controversy, with some claiming it to not only be larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza, but much older. But if the Great Pyramid of Cholula really is older than the Great Pyramid of Giza, then what culture was equipped with the means and knowledge to build it? And most importantly, why was the largest pyramid to ever exist suddenly abandoned? Hidden beneath a hill atop which a church was built during Spanish colonial times, the Great Pyramid of Cholula has stood proudly since time immemorial. Just east of Mexico City lies this pyramid, in the Puebla region of Mexico, in the city of Cholula, which is considered to be one of Mexico's oldest inhabited cities. Considered the largest archaeological site of a pyramid in the New World and the largest pyramid on the planet's surface in terms of volume, the Great Pyramid of Cholula, also known as Tlaquehualtepetl, is a true behemoth pyramid. It was built to a height of 66 meters, with a base measuring 450 by 450 meters, with an architectural style closely related to that present at Teotihuacan's ancient city. Many of the most important details conceding the Great Pyramid of Cholula remain a profound archaeological mystery. Much of this can be attributed to the fact that the Great Pyramid of Cholula remains largely unexcavated, and it's not known exactly when the pyramid was constructed. Archaeologists believe the construction may have begun some 2,300 years ago, around 300 BC, though others seem to argue that it's between 7,000 to 8,500 years old. One of these believers is author and journalist Graham Hancock. Hancock has often brought up the fact that the core of the pyramid is much older than the exterior. In essence, he compares it to a Russian matryoshka doll, where the core was built between 7,000 and 8,500 years ago, and then another pyramid was eventually built around that one, and then another layer long after that one. Modern experts often dispute this age claim though, since this age range was predicted by archaeologists rather than being studied by geologists. The archaeologists that came up with the 7 to 8,500 year range originally did so before carbon dating existed and assumed that since sediments at the site were below the Chitle lava flow, they were at least 8,000 years old. Eventually, numerous radiocarbon dates clearly demonstrated that these sediments were actually from 250 BC. This is from the base though, and not the core pyramid. So, until we garner info from the core, these so-called experts will have to hold back. Hancock has often clapped back, arguing that not enough studying has been conducted. He often cites the writings of Father Bernardino de Sahagún, whose eyewitness account just after the Spanish conquest of Mexico said that the pyramid is full of mines and caves. Hancock has doubled down on this claim, often citing that in an unpublished account, archaeologists had recently found an open room in the pyramid and that there were several more unexplored tunnels leading into the room and elsewhere. So, to be fair to both the already controversial Graham Hancock and his skeptics, it's only right to say that there needs to be much more excavations done at this site while holding back on any significant claims, without more evidence. The age of Cholula isn't the only mystery. Another interesting aspect about this fascinating pyramid is exactly how long it took to complete. Given its size and the tools and technologies available at the time, researchers propose that the pyramid could have taken anywhere from 100 to 1,000 years to build, with each generation adding on to it. Since there are no written records about the pyramid, we can't possibly know when it was built. Although, thanks to the soil covering its exterior, we can estimate to a degree when it was buried. This also begs the question as to which ancient culture should take credit for constructing such a feat. Legends have it that the Great Pyramid of Cholula was not built by man but by Cholula, a giant of the time of the Universal Deluge and one of the 7 giants in Aztec culture. We'll cover him more in a bit. The Great Pyramid of Cholula is essentially a Mesoamerican step pyramid consisting of 6 main superimposed structures. The base of the Great Pyramid of Cholula alone covers 160,000 square meters, making it 3 times greater than the 53,056 square meter base of Pharaoh Khufu's Great Pyramid of Giza. From what has been observed about this pyramid complex was that it was built in 4 main stages, the earliest of which is in the 3rd century BC, and the entire structure was dedicated to Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god. In ancient Mesoamerican culture, Quetzalcoatl is the feathered serpent. The earliest known mention of the feathered serpent can be traced back to Teotihuacan. However, the earliest worship of a feathered serpent can be traced back to the Olmec culture around 900 BC. While we don't know as much about Quetzalcoatl in Olmec culture, we do know about him in Aztec culture. He was worshipped as the god of wind, air, learning, and the planet Venus, of the dawn, merchants and arts, crafts, and general knowledge. Quetzalcoatl was one of 3 most important deities in all of Mesoamerican culture. Although the worship of the featherhead serpent may have long disappeared from North America, to this date certain rituals connected to the feathered serpent are performed at Cholula. But it's not the legends behind this flying feathered serpent and creator deity that shrouds Cholula in mystery. It's another god. Legend has it that Tlaloc, the Aztec rain god, was the reason behind the creation of this magnificent pyramid. The legend says that there were once giants roaming around ancient Mexico, and that their god Tlaloc grew angry with them, sending a great flood to destroy them. The 7 surviving giants, led by the giant Cholula, who we mentioned earlier, went to Cholula and recruited some of the ancient humans to help them build a massive artificial mountain to worship Tlaloc. Even though we're told it was meant for worshipping Quetzalcoatl? Yeah, I'm confused too. While we take this legend as a grain of salt, others such as Graham Hancock propose that rather than being physical giants, these were intellectual giants. The extent of technological advancement of these alleged advanced people is not thrown out there by Hancock. But what is likely, and more probable, is that if the ancient people of Cholula had helped from a more advanced culture, then it may have likely been one more along the lines of a people with more advanced agricultural knowledge, urban design, and obviously, the understanding of building an absolute monster of a pyramid. Who would these people be then? Mesoamerica has countless mysteries that have yet to be solved. The region is home to a vast array of archaeological sites, many of which have only been partially explored. New technologies such as LiDAR and satellite imagery are allowing archaeologists to study the region in new ways and to make discoveries that would not have been possible before. In 2022, archaeologists announced the discovery of a previously unknown entire Mayan city in Guatemala. This unknown city, called Aguateca, is thought to have been a major center of power during the late Classic period. Archaeologists also used LiDAR technology in 2021 to discover a whole network of ancient canals in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. The canals, which are thought to have been used for irrigation and transportation, are much larger and more complex than previously thought. These are just a few examples of the many recent discoveries that are helping us to better understand the Mesoamerican past. However, there is still so much more to learn. This entire region is one that we've barely touched the tip of the iceberg on when it comes to studying it. While we can make the most of these tales behind the creation of the Great Pyramid of Cholula with a grain of salt, It is quite fascinating that there is something we should at least consider as hints that'll take us one step closer to understanding mysterious ancient wonders, such as the Great Pyramid of Cholula. Thank you for watching today's episode of Amateur Archaeology. If you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel. In the meantime though, we'll see you next time, only on Amateur Archaeology.